I urge you to show yourself. I get to talk to them and they're like, are you sure you're from Ethiopia?
You had this opportunity to be in that game. You met this billionaire, Mark Cuban.
Stood next to him. I did shake a billionaire's hand. You have bad press.
Mikas, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm hoping you'll be one of those individuals who can be called a billionaire in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I read business books so that I could limit my failures. I have friends here that make like upwards of $10,000 every single month.
What is your take on that?
A one man could create basically $1 billion industry just by leveraging tech. Even now more so than before using AI.
Give me the image of Ethiopia from the lens of a young person.
There are a lot of opportunities in Ethiopia because not a lot has been done. In chaos, there are opportunities. So you can solve a lot of problems for them, be successful as fast as possible.
Do you encourage brain drain?
Ethiopia is basically going to be the next India.
Where do you see the BPO sector in about 5 years' time from now? Mikas, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us who Mikas is.
Well, my name is Mikas. I'm born and raised here in Addis Ababa. I am a co-founder of a software development company called Ethiopian Software Technologies, which later steamrolled into being a business process outsourcing company. I am one of four. You've met Kirubel. Then there's Kerod. Then there's Yarid. We all grew up together since kids. And we started a software development company because we had projects while we were in campus that we wanted to be a part of. And well, we had people that helped us into developing this business. And eventually we had to teach ourselves a lot of things to get to the place we are now, to get to the place we're right now. And we dabble in mostly tech, business. Custom software development is like our forte. And now we do consultancy as well and hope to become great motivators to the current youth entrepreneurs. To make it short, that is what I do and what our company is about.
Okay, born and raised in Ethiopia and you're young. You were doing all these things, being in Ethiopia. So that's one really big thing, big motivation for most young people in the country. Is it the general perception that people have that an Ethiopian working in Ethiopia can be as driven as you are or as driven as your friends are?
Surprisingly, no, actually. Especially because there's the young factor, right? I'm 25 years old. I'm the youngest of us and the oldest is 27, 28. So there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the youth being hungry. And especially people, surprisingly, not only people here, like even people in the States. I had a small business visit there for 3 months and I had the opportunity to meet the Diaspora community, as well as a lot of business owners that are US citizens, that are not Ethiopians generally, right? So they have the misconception that there are amazing talent in Ethiopia, like people that have achieved big things, but have chosen not to show themselves. And it was surprising. And that's why partly we're trying to help out different startups, different companies, like people who haven't seen the hurdles we have. And we want to also educate the rest of the world that Ethiopia is a source of amazing talent. Ethiopia is a source of great potential, both investment-ready potential as well as opportunity-ready potential.
All right. So this experience you had in the US, and I understand you met people from different parts of the world, including Ethiopia. So discussing about this issue, I heard that even Ethiopians who are living in that country have a very limited understanding of what Ethiopia is. And some of them may have the understanding that we don't even have access to books, maybe.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience. I want you to go deep into that and Give me the real experience that you had, and what was the encounter like for a guy who went to the US from Ethiopia and had the chance to meet these people and had the responsibility actually to explain what is happening in Ethiopia and what is real in Ethiopia, than the perception that these people have, our own people living in the diaspora?
Yeah, it was surprising because initially I met with US citizens, not Ethiopians. It's expected, right? The information they have of Ethiopia is what they get from the internet, and it's mostly not good news. So like there were moments where I had to tell them that I did not grow up there. I had to pull up my passport saying that I am Ethiopian. And there are a lot of people like me, people that are driven. And they're easily amendable. So that's understandable, right? They don't know about Ethiopia. I mean, in some cases, they don't even know the existence of Ethiopia. They think Africa is a country. So it was mostly a visitation of explaining to them how Ethiopia has grown more than a business kind of meeting. So you go there to tell them about your business, to tell them about what you offer. Then you end up telling them about Ethiopia, which was a great experience. I ended up convincing a few people to come to Ethiopia, which is a great achievement. But also the diaspora community, especially the ones that haven't been to Ethiopia in recent years, they have a very limited understanding of what the Ethiopian youth looks like, what they do, the education they had, and how driven they are. And they're really surprised. I mean, I get to talk to them and they're like, "Are you sure you're from Ethiopia?" Yes, I remember where I came from. I came here a few days ago. And they're like, "Wow, okay, this is amazing." So you start seeing their face change, seeing opportunities, like it's like a glimmer of hope. So there is a generation that's responsible enough to help out with the future, the future everybody envisions. And you see their change and I'm happy. Then I realized that, well, if this is a common understanding that the diaspora has, then we need to change it. Hence, one of the reasons why I'm here, one of the reasons why we're trying to educate the youth, to push them more on the marketing side, for them to understand that nobody sees them unless they want to be seen. And that's what we're trying to do right now, amongst other things. So we're trying to change that. And hopefully this interview, me as a representation of the youth, would be able to change the minds of a lot of the diaspora community.
All right. You also met one billionaire from the US. My imagination would be like, if I happen to meet a billionaire from the US, I would be like, I don't know. I wouldn't have the courage to ask him to invest in any of the businesses that I think of, or the idea or anything like that. I don't even imagine me going there to take a photo and then post it or show it to friends or anything like that. But you had this opportunity to be in that business setting, and you met this billionaire, Mark Cuban, a very influential figure, very huge in the world of tech and other things. So you're really young, you're 25, you're from a third world country, from Ethiopia, and going to the US, happen to meet this big guy, maybe you admire or you heard about. What was your first feeling?
So let me tell you this story.
No.
Well, I was with my uncle, his close friend and a great mentor, basically family. He invited us to watch the Mavs game. And Mark Cuban is, owner of the Mavericks, right? So we had food and we were trying to go to our seats. In front of me came Mark Cuban. He had no security. He had nobody with him. He's just strolling down the lane. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Mark Cuban. And they looked at me and the big client I told you, his name is Mulao. He said, we need to take a picture. And he goes straight up to me. He's like, we have to take a picture. And he was so kind, generous. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. So stood next to him. I'm freaking out. I'm really proud of myself for not fangirling all over him because he's a great inspiration. Like I've known him since I was very, very young. And he's an inspiration not only to me, but to my team and my co-founders, my friends, right? So after we took the photo, I'm like, I am a really big fan. I'm trying to do this. But he was in a hurry. So he's like, I can't talk right now. I got to go to the game. The game has already started. And I'm like, okay, big fan.
You didn't pitch anything.
I tried to, but I failed miserably.
Why?
I mean, like he didn't have the time to talk to me. But
All right.
more than the encounter, the idea I had of my idols changed. Especially being here in Ethiopia, you don't have a lot of opportunities to meet like great people, billionaires, let alone billionaires, right? So I saw that he's also human. I know this sounds stupid, but I humanized him. I saw that he basically was born he was born a few years before I was. He achieved the great things he did. But I also possess the same capabilities, I don't have a lot of downsides. So I'm like, okay, if he could achieve this, and I have now concluded that he's human, maybe we can reach the goal we set out for ourselves. Even though might not be as big as his, a fraction of it would be still humongous. So that encounter kind of changed my mindset in a way. I know some of you are going to say this is stupid, but humanizing your idols, it's great because you read about them, you see them all over the news, all over the TV. But you realize that anything is possible. Sure. And I truly believe that. So that was my encounter. I didn't pitch directly to him, but I did shake a billionaire's hand. So hopefully some of his money-making strategies passed on to me.
I mean, we're betting on our young people and, hoping to see a unicorn in Ethiopia. A lot of them, not one, not two or three, maybe 20, maybe thousands, man. So I'm hoping you'll be one of those individuals who can be called a billionaire in Ethiopia because you're really focused on business and you've been telling me a lot of things about this. But one thing I want to talk about also businesses, because that is one of your areas of interest. You read business books to understand business. So I don't believe anyone who wants to understand business should read business books. Like I understand that if you have to go to wars or if you have to have that experience of being in a war, you don't need to read war books. You just need to experience it. Go in there, have whatever emotions that you have, the fears and the other things, and experience the bullets flying and every kind of ammunition being around you and smell the smells around it so that you can understand that you are in a war and you have to survive and achieve a mission. So I don't agree with anyone who tells me that they're reading business books to understand business. What's your take on that? And what's your understanding?
Oh, okay. So I read business books so that I could limit my failures, right? Like same thing as wars. You do research on your enemy. As many information you could get without sacrificing any manpower. Then you act on those. It's the same. So you will encounter a lot of hurdles while trying to navigate through the business world. But those hurdles, they're usually common. Like it might not apply to the same ecosystem, it might not apply to the same country, but the problems you face, especially in terms of operations, in terms of how you manage things, they're common, right? So having information about what those hurdles might look like, that's going to be a great asset. It's even amazing because, well, if you read books before you going into something new, you realize that those people did not achieve what they achieved easily. It's hard. So you can gauge yourself. You understand that this is beyond my capability, and that's fine. There are a lot of people who choose to work a 9-to-5 job, which is great. That's understandable. And there are a lot of people who have passion, but they don't know the know-how. So even knowing what you don't know is a great asset. And those things could be achieved by reading books. That's the only thing available to us. Content related to what you're trying to do is the only thing that, like, mostly it's the thing that you can see, right? So I advise everybody to read books. No information versus some information. Well, some information is going to help out a lot. Then you get to your destination faster because you know how to navigate those hurdles, the same hurdles the other people navigated through. So I'll try to understand what you said, but I would advise anyone to read books. If you don't like reading books, you can, I mean, this is, globalization has made everything accessible to us. A lot of videos, a lot of content. And personally, it has helped me a lot. It helped me navigate through a lot of things, learn things much faster. Yeah, so reading books, big asset. Consuming content, big asset. Then you use that information in a way that applies to you, in a way that applies to the ecosystem, the business sector you're in.
I mean, I'm not advising people not to read. As I mean, I live for reading. That's the best world to be in. The world where you can read, you can access books, and actually consume as much as you could consume. So that's the best way to live. But what I understand is, I mean, I try to understand these people that are really successful in the business world. For example, the Mark Cuban of the world, the Bill Gates of the world, the Elon Musk of the world, all these individuals. I don't imagine them reading business book. For example, I don't imagine Elon Musk maybe reading Robert Kiyosaki's or one of those guys' books. I rather imagine these people reading books that are really, I mean, challenging, very tough to consume. For example, I understand most of these individuals are really into physics books, maybe, or biology, neurology, or something like that. I'm not saying that the fundamentals, the basics of those things are not important. These are really important. I really encourage people to do that. But for someone who's aiming really high, trying to achieve really big, trying to understand the perspective of business from the business books, I don't believe is the right way to go about it. That's the main reason I mentioned that. But I really appreciate and admire you doing that, because we don't have so many people actually reading books these days. That's not a research that I conducted, but that's my understanding. Just looking around myself and watching people do whatever they do. So that's one of the points that I have in regards to that point, but I really respect that. Okay, let me give you a scenario, a very simple one. So we'll be having this video edited and we'll be giving it a title, and there'll be a thumbnail. On the thumbnail, we'll write something that promotes the video and that actually tells what it is that we discussed about for the audience to listen to or to watch. This time we would be doing it. But if you have the chance to come on this podcast again after 5 years, and if I gave you the opportunity to choose the thumbnail title, what would that be?
5 years from now.
Yeah.
The youth that carved the path he set out on, I guess. Because that's what we're trying to do. Like in this ecosystem, like the whole thing we all agreed on is creating something big, something sustainable that's going to not only last our lifetime, but create a legacy, right? So within 5 years, I think of getting maybe 20-30% of that vision. So other people could see that and say, okay, what he said then, he actually acted on. So maybe we can do these things. And I say this because I have my inspirations, both within the country and across the world. And it's, even though things seem bleak, even though things might not seem like they're going to work out, they push through. And you see the grit they have, the things they had to sacrifice to get there. And I'm pretty happy to be with the friends I have, my co-founders, my basically brothers. And we all have the same understanding. Sacrifice to get to the place where we intend to be. And within 5 years, hopefully, we're going to get 20 to 30% of the way we intend to achieve within our lifetime. Yeah.
All right. Would you say you're bold?
I have learned to be through a lot of trials. Yes. Now you have to be, because it's a world of taking risks. If you don't take risks, if you keep doing the same things everybody else is doing, then you can't expect big results. That's just common sense, right? So you have to be bold and face the consequences. And sometimes you have to deal with the consequences. Sometimes the consequences never come and you end up, well, gaining a lot of value and achieving what you set out for. So you have to be bold. So I'm trying to be. I'm not completely bold, but I am better than I was a couple of years ago.
Okay. You mentioned something about BPO, business process outsourcing, is that?
Yeah.
And you're in that world as well.
Yeah.
I had Augustine here. We were talking about everything BPO, how Ethiopia's potential is really growing, and we can contribute a lot because the infrastructure development within the country and all those things can contribute to us leading in that arena, in that world. What is your take on that? And what do you see Ethiopia achieving and engaging in the remote jobs area and the BPO and the whole sphere of remote jobs?
Yeah. So we got introduced to the whole concept of BPO. That concept came to us unknowingly. So I told you we did custom software development, right? We developed different apps for different clients. And every time before we finished one project, another project came, mostly through word of mouth. And we created good platforms. So the demand kept coming in. And we're like, okay, we know that we have other friends who could do the same things we did. There are a lot of them out there. They're just not introduced to the opportunity. So why not take those contracts, bring them here, manage the team, because we did several different projects in the tech sector, different like fintech, femtech, edtech. And so we understood that this sector is something we want to be involved in. It's just basically increasing revenue. So we went into this and we understood, like, one of the basic reasons for my trip is to get more clients. Then we understood that the image people have of Ethiopia is not right. And the smart ones know that there are a lot of talent here in Ethiopia, but they don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to show what they're capable of. And they took advantage of that. So one of the things they did is, so there are BPO companies like in India, Philippines. They're cheaper from the States, but Ethiopia is far more cheaper than they are. So they know the talent here. So there's the white label type of service. So they employ you to do the work they get. So they're using the Ethiopian talent basically to grow, which is funny. We saw that, we understood that, and we're like, okay, why not cut the middle people? Then try to do this ourselves. Then that's when we came with the realization that the image Ethiopia gives off has to change for them to trust in the youth. So we went into this venture, and Ethiopia is cheaper. So we have amazing talent, untapped talent, and we're far cheaper. So which is very great for companies in the States. And instead of employing one person there, they could employ 10 people using the same salary. They don't have to pay for pension, insurance, different monetary obligations they have to. So it's very attractive. So we went into this sector, and luckily we got a few contracts. We started executing on them. And we understood that this is the easiest way to gain foreign currency, because this is a service industry. So the only thing you give is your time and the effort. In terms of monetary conflicts, you don't have that much except like maybe having a laptop, a good Wi-Fi, internet, and everything else. It comes down right to the talent. And the amazing thing is, so we just bring in talent, we train them up, right? They don't need that much training because they already have the basis. They just don't know how to express themselves. And hence why I'm trying to express myself, show people that there are people that have amazing capabilities if given the opportunity. And yeah, so we went into the BPO sector and we're trying to expand. We do custom software development, even customer service related roles. I mean, I grew up here in Addis Ababa. My English is okay, right? So there are a lot of people like me. And this is a highly demanded, skill. And I think that the faster people realize this, the faster they could profit from this. And the people who surprisingly are using this are sadly not Ethiopians abroad, but like Ukrainians, Filipinos, Kenyans, and some companies that are smart in the US, they also employ people here. But even that, like I've been able to convince a few people, like mostly the youth, diaspora, that took on like Ethiopian talent. And they're like, Jesus Christ, okay, let's expand. Let's add this person, let's do this. And they give them the freedom to expand themselves. And the talent here, because they're being paid well and they're being given the space to expand their knowledge, they rise up to the challenge. It's amazing. So I urge like the Ethiopians out there, the diaspora community, to use this to their advantage. Because everybody else is going to be using it. It doesn't require a lot of effort. It's just the willingness. And the youth here in Ethiopia, the entrepreneurs, the people who are working hard under covers that don't want to be shown, I urge you to show yourself. Because you're the commodities that the people need that they don't find, the gem. So the image they have of Ethiopia, the image they have of the entrepreneurship here, and the drive, the grit that needs to not change, but it needs to be out there. So I urge you to do that for the youth.
Definitely. So you've been mentioning some of the critical things that we as a country are struggling with, especially young people having talent and the understanding of the world, the understanding of technology, but not being able to actually sell what they have, the services, and express themselves. I sometimes really confuse myself thinking that I met Mikas, I met his friends. They can express themselves. And they have friends around them expressing themselves, telling us about their products, their services. So why aren't we really focusing on these individuals to actually count the ripple effect or count the individuals that are out there who can sell themselves or explain what they have? People mentioned to me countries like Kenya in the region in Africa or other countries, for example, the Philippines or Ukraine. You said, I had the chance to meet with people from that part of the world, and I had the chance to converse with these individuals. The talent they sell or they say they have is not that much of a big talent in terms of expressing themselves, or the technical skills there is also not as advertised. So what is wrong with that? What is wrong with us not actually benefiting from that ability that we have and gaining the money that we want to gain from that? So if you have an insight about that.
Yeah. So if you're talking about the Ukraine, the Philippines, they've been in this industry for quite some time.
Yeah.
So the great talents are already like doing jobs, right? So you find those people that are starting out that don't know that much about the industry. So that's why I think you have the misconception of them not being able to express themselves. When it comes to Ethiopia, this is a new sector. Like it's been a few years since people had access to good internet. Then that opened up countless opportunities. And if the smart ones, the people that know how to express themselves, the people that want to take opportunities, like take chances, they're already taken. I mean, I have friends here that make like upwards of $10,000 every single month from their homes because they knew how to express themselves and they're being promoted. Everything they learned through the internet. Everything they do, like, it's common, right? So the people that don't know how to express themselves, I think it's mostly because of the culture we have, like the Ethiopian culture. Since you're kids, you're not allowed to speak up to elders. Like, it's just keep your head down, respect your elders, don't talk too much. So that kind of that nature pushed into their adulthood, and they're afraid of expressing themselves. Especially what we noticed is that they don't want to take risks. They have to be 100% sure that they're going to complete the tasks, or they don't want to do it. Even like they don't realize the potential they have. That's one thing we noticed is you can prop people up and make them see their potential. That's a very pessimistic way of life. Like, they don't say, I can do it. They say, what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't achieve this by the time I do this? What if I mess up? Sure, everybody messes up. We're humans, obviously. The only problem is if you don't learn from that mess up, right? So it's the whole culture. And we also face the same things, but like, we gain the confidence to talk. We gain the confidence to show our work through repetition. I've told you about Kirubel and me. So when we were starting out, we were afraid. Like, showing our faces, talking with different business owners. You talk to them and they're like, yeah, we don't need you guys. You don't have experience. And we took it personally. We're like, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not going to come. I don't care about what he thinks. Then we took it personally. After a while, we got used to it. Now it's a laughing matter. Every time we meet up, we're like, okay, I failed in this way. I failed in this way. Yeah, you have to normalize failures. And that kind of built up our courage. And the fact that the greatest people in the world, if you look well into their past, they have bad press, usually. Like, their past is filled with bad press. And somehow they made it. So even if negative backlashes happen, there are ways you could climb out of it. So understanding that gave us courage. And everybody should opt for that. It's a practice you have to embed into your lifestyle. You have to keep on trying over and over again, failing over and over again until someone takes a chance on you. Then you grow in that experience. Then everybody else sees what you're capable of. I mean, if you see Nigerians, they're great at expressing themselves, even if they don't have anything. And I'm very, well, not jealous, but they intrigue me, right?
Yeah.
And they get countless opportunities. But here in Ethiopia, people don't realize their potential. And I want them to realize that. And we try to help them. That's what we do. Every time we induct new interns, every time we induct new employees, you prop them up. Like, you don't give them much training when it comes to the skills that they already have. It's mostly going to be client-facing skills they have to improve. And after they improve, after they see that it's not as bad out there, that negative criticism is okay, then they thrive. Like, it's just taking that first step. That first step is always, always hard. But after you take that step, you just keep on going. And yeah, so that is the opinion I have of that. I also want to mention that when we were starting out, we had a lot of support, right? So I personally, my dad is a professor. He has his own consultancy company. So like, my mom works there as well. So I had a lot of information to pull from them. Like, every time we messed up. And that's a great aspect. Same, even like my friends, all of them. Like, we have amazing support when it comes to our parents. They help us specifically take risks. We don't have other responsibilities because they shoulder us in most cases. And we try to take advantage of it. And the youth right now, they have to understand that they don't have a lot of responsibilities. They just have to basically feed themselves. I understand there are a lot of people that have other obligations in terms of family, but they also could change, right? It's going to take more effort from their end. But youth like us, like the youngsters, the people that want to have a great life with no responsibilities now, they should take advantage of it. And if they do right now, if they fail as fast as possible right now, if they learn as fast as possible right now, then the success they intend to achieve is going to come much earlier. you can see like a lot of people, they try the entrepreneurship route after working in a company for decades. Then they eventually, usually they face some kind of big problem, like someone gets sick, they have to earn a lot of money, an accidental child. So that forces them into entrepreneurship. But when they go into that world, then they're not only risking their lives, their livelihood, it's everybody around them, everybody they're responsible for. So this is the perfect time. Take that risk. Even if it doesn't work out, the value you get from failing and understanding how you failed is going to be much greater than the value you would gain as an employee. Like, I'm not saying don't be an employee. You have to, in some cases, to learn a lot about that. Just if you have a vision of creating something big, don't stay in that pit for too long, trying to push yourself out.
Amazing. So you actually touched upon a very important point related to actually expressing yourself and mentioning the Nigerians. And I have a friend. So this friend is American, Ethio-American. He actually spent his childhood, majority of his childhood in the US. So he has that experience of being an American. He has that experience of actually dreaming about something and knowing that he can get it or achieve it. So this guy came to Ethiopia, started a business and started different ventures in the country, in Ethiopia. So I asked him what his observation is about Ethiopians compared to that of the US, the young people in the US. And he told me one thing that the people from the US, young people in the US have is the confidence that they can do anything and it could succeed. The understanding, it could be a naive understanding. Sometimes you may fail, but the belief that you have of yourself that you can sell anything is more than anything. But in Ethiopia, I don't know whether you call it imposter syndrome or anything that you could be affected with. While you have the knowledge, while you have the skill, giving it out or selling it to other people is a cringe, a matter of, I don't know, criticism or something like that. How do you think the young people that we have in Ethiopia can overcome that obstacle? Because I see it as a culture. Sometimes it is manifesting itself, this identity or this character manifesting itself as being cool. I mean, is that what you think it is?
Yeah. So this whole being cool thing does not work. Honestly speaking, they think they're cool, but in the end, when they look back like on their lives, like when they're like in their basically their end of life phase, these are the things they regret, right? The memory we have is very fickle. So most people, the things you do today, you can check TikTok, whatever. The content you saw this morning, you're not going to remember in this afternoon. Even the great people, like I said, like Elon Musk, Jack Ma, even Mark Cuban, if you see in their past history, I mean, there are a lot of criticism they faced, but everybody responds to the great things they did. But before then, it was a struggle. They had to struggle. And that's a part of life, right? You have to struggle. And having the confidence to struggle is a big asset. The things you do, they're not as memorable as you think. Honestly, you could ask, like for people who had lost their parents. I had a friend, he's more of a mentor. He told me that he does not remember the face of his mother. Imagine someone as deeply connected to you, someone that raised you, you eventually forget. Something as important as that, you forget, right? So the idea of I have to be cool is mostly not them trying to be cool, but them fearing showing themselves. Them fearing, it's like fear of rejection. And failure is the greatest teacher. So they have to be willing to try. They have to be willing to fail. And anything, even muscles, like you have to train to eventually get to the place you wanted to, right? So you have to train this. This is a skill. This is a skill you have to evolve yourself. So practice, then take Instead of taking good, one thing we do is instead of taking, the good things we did, we ask them what things we did wrong so we could improve as fast as possible, like develop a tough skin. So you could correct like the things you're not doing right as fast as possible. You learn from them and you go. So that's how you have to navigate life. What I believe, that's how you have to see the world. And the idea of just being cool, it's not enough. You'll be cool eventually. Nobody remembers the person clapping, because if you're not willing to try something great, then you're going to be the person clapping for someone who's willing to take on the trials, all the failures now for success later. So this is a delayed gratification. Focus on yourself. Believe that you could achieve great things, even though they seem dark right now. Like anything is possible with God, of course. So push through that. Push through the phase that most people don't see right now, so you can build it up. And eventually, when you reach that point where everything changes, when you start getting fame, the popularity and everything, then you'd be like, all those years of neglect, all those years of hard work amounted to something. So it's just a matter of time. If you're okay being the person you are right now, not willing to risk it all, that's fine. I understand. But if you are trying to achieve big things, you also have to be willing to risk everything you know, the reputation you have right now, so that people see the vision later.
Fantastic. Okay. So let me bring you back to Ethiopia and the realities that we have in Ethiopia in relation to tech and understanding technology. I believe this is a time to realize that young people who understand tech are the future of the country. But I fail to understand, or if it is lack of maybe comprehension of the fact on the ground in the country, I fail to understand that the big people, the elders that we have in the country, don't have the belief that these young people can amount to anything. I have reasons to say these things. But before I explain the reasons that I have, the justifications that I can give out, let me ask you one very simple question related to this. What do you think is the tech understanding that we have? And do you believe that we have that understanding that it's impacting everything, every aspect of our life? Because you're in that world of technology, you operate on that and you get your money, you get your bread from working on tech or selling tech. How do you evaluate the understanding that we have of technology?
I mean, so the younger generation obviously understand it. So because they grew up in that era, right? Right now, this world is a world where every business is trying to take your attention. And if you see most people right now, the majority of the time, they're either on their phones, on their laptop, even though it's mostly for entertainment purposes, you find them there. And everything is easier with tech, right? Even AI right now, it automates a lot of laborious manual processes. So you're either going to be left behind if you don't understand tech, or you have to understand how to use it. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know, the intricate details. Just knowing how to use it, like understanding, especially AI, is just making everything no code now. There was just knowing how to talk to tech, how to leverage it is going to be a great asset. And I mean, people think that tech is the whole solution. It isn't, especially in businesses. Software is basically a tool. So you have the option of using that tool to get to your destination faster. Or you don't use that tool. You could eventually get to that destination, but it's going to be a lot slower. So tech, you have to understand it. The understanding people have right now, like the young generation, they do. Majority of them not in the right way because it's mostly for entertainment purposes. But the smart ones, the people who want to use tech to create something, they're taking strides, and there's a lot of content out there, free content on how to leverage tech. Like even not only developers, but like in your company, we're in an era where a one-man person could create basically $1 billion industry. just by leveraging tech. Even now, more so than before, using AI just basically does everything for you. So you're a fool if you don't utilize tech. I'm not saying you're not going to get you to your destination, but know how to use it, leverage it for your internal operations. But also, you don't use tech everywhere, as in, let's say in businesses, like you want to target a specific market. If that market is not invested in tech, then introducing tech to them is going to be much more laborious. You could use tech to optimize your operations, but the product or service you provide these people, it has to be through the things they do, right? So as a business owner, leverage tech to yourself to maximize efficiency and output. But when it comes to generating revenue, be very careful of how you use it, because you might spend a lot more time in things that might not work. Either way, tech is great. Anything is great if you know how to use it. It also has its bad aspects. It's just, are you smart enough to use it in a way that's going to benefit you in the long run?
Amazing. Okay. Give me the image of Ethiopia from the lens of a young person who aspires to achieve a lot. Is that an optimist figure that you have, or is it a pessimist figure?
It's very optimistic. Well, there are a lot of opportunities in Ethiopia because not a lot has been done.
All right.
Right? If you go to the Western world, you're competing against everybody else in the world. Go to the US, every country is trying to dominate that market. In Ethiopia, it's been closed off. It's opening now. So this is this is the time to act fast, because companies with big resources are going to come in. So I've understood this for quite some time, because there aren't a lot of things done here. You don't even have to create things. You could copy things. Same way that there's these two brothers in Europe that basically copied eBay, a lot of companies, and applied it to their country. And I mean, they're millionaires now. So same way with Ethiopia. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy road. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of hurdles, right? But in chaos, there are opportunities. So you have to know how to utilize those opportunities. If not, well, like you won't get as far as you think you're going to go. But for people who want to achieve great things, Ethiopia is a perfect place for a lot of opportunities. But also for people who want to be employed, like stay in one place, I understand why they go to the States, because they offer a lot more benefits. And they also end up, surprisingly, after working a few years, they end up saying, I want to create something big here in Ethiopia. Like my friends that work in big companies, Amazon, LinkedIn, Disney Plus, they said, I eventually want to come back. I don't want this life right now. The work I do has no purpose. So they end up specifically saying, I'm going to work for a few years. Like the revenue I generated, I'm going to invest it in Ethiopia. I think that's why most of the diaspora also want to invest in Ethiopia, because what they do there, in terms of opportunities to create something new, it's harder. But here in Ethiopia, nothing is being done, especially in the tech scene. It's very new. Like we have like first generation wealthy people here in Ethiopia. In the States, it's like several generations. So a lot of things can be done here. But everybody has to act fast, because Ethiopia is opening up her borders. So companies with a lot of knowledge, a lot of resource are going to come in and dominate this market. And I would love for the people who were born here and to utilize this much more than people who just want revenue, like impact-driven act.
All right. What do you do for fun?
Fun. I mean, I have amazing friends. One of the things I think I am blessed in is friends. Like I'm surrounded by great friends, so you meet up with friends. But on my personal time, I love reading books. The occasional movie, TV shows, music, sure. Most of my time is spent between friends, family, and reading books. But we don't have a lot. Honestly speaking, I'm sure my parents are going to be laughing at this. We don't have a lot of time to have fun on it. We have a lot of projects we do. So it's the Ethiopian work we do in the daytime and during the nighttime. We have the BPO thing we do. So the small amount of hours we get every day, I sleep. But whenever I do find time, friends, family, and personal time. And also God. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Yeah, God.
All right. And I mean, the reason I'm asking you this question is not because I I mean, I can imagine that you're young, you can have fun in your own way, but there is this big extreme of people not liking to contribute anything towards the development of the improvement of the society. So doing all the TikToks and everything, I somehow not a fan of that. So there is the other extreme that includes you guys, people working day in, day out, every day engaged in some project and delivering something, getting money out of it. And the dopamine of getting money may take you to some places where you have to engage further and try to get something out of it. So there comes the burnout. So I'm really concerned about that extreme. So I was trying to gauge if you are in the middle. I don't actually like people telling me that they sleep only 2 or 3 hours. That's not okay, because we want people like yourself to be there for the Ethiopia that is coming. We want people like yourself to be an inspiration for us. So the burnout part is not okay. And the other extreme is not okay as well. So can you, I mean, I'm trying to have this imagination of seeing Ethiopians being a little beyond the middle, like 70% around there. So if you have that experience.
Yeah. Another fact my parents are going to laugh about. So me, like, and my co-founders, we have an understanding, which is most things come through sacrifice. And in our case, the sacrifices we're willing to make are the time we have, and the effort we put into it. So we motivate each other. Whenever I feel down, like I see Kirobit, I see Kerol, I see Yare, the things they're doing. So, and things lack in, they fill in. So we motivate each other. So far, burnout hasn't happened that much. I mean, sometimes it happens. And we also try to find time to balance things, but we're not great at it, honestly speaking. Balance right now, it's not great because we're in our sacrifice phase. We're young. We can take a lot of stress right now. So let's try to sacrifice what we have right now for a better future. But we're not as stressed as we used to be when we started out. So it's all progress. We understand that slow progress. And eventually we're going to be basically managing a lot of operations. We have teams that we train. The BPO is going to be great because we have amazing people. We're training them up to basically replace us so that we can manage everything else. So we believe in the team. Developing a team is going to free us up later on. So we're in the phase where we have to sacrifice. But eventually, I understand we have to balance things because I see all the great people. I read about them. I told you I read a lot. And balancing is one of the biggest things they face. That's hard. And they say that sometimes it might not be worth it. So we have to be careful. So I have this mindset that we shouldn't be as greedy. So we have a vision we want to achieve. Once that sets in, then you have to find time for, personal family time, resting, personal growth. But right now it's not balanced at all. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's more balanced than it used to be like a couple of years ago. And it's progressing. We have the plan. Eventually, we're going to reach a position where we have personal life, work, and harmony. And through that, our productivity is going to increase. That's the hope, at least.
All right. So you've been mentioning the name of Jesus here and there. I like that. And it actually made me think about things that I observed. Interacting with the young people that we have in Ethiopia and in different part of the world. I sometimes travel to the European part of that world, and I see that people don't have that urge to actually worship any kind of God except the fun they have or the entertainment they have. In Ethiopia, the case is not the same, it's different, but I don't have that context. I just want you to give me the context of Ethiopian young people, especially that are working for an impact like yourself or your team. What is your relationship with God? Or what is your relationship with the spirituality? It could be, I mean, in any religions that we have in the world.
Yeah. So, like I told you, I have amazing friends, right, around me. That showed me a lot about kindness, that showed me a lot of how to treat other people. I have grown a lot through them. And they're mostly religious. I also have a very religious family. My mom is very religious. So I grew up in that environment. And I understand that in life, there are things you can control and there are things you can't control. I used to stress over the things I can't control, trying to control them. But like most Ethiopians here, they have hope because they are very in tune with God and the religion, right? So to trust in God, that everything is going to end up great, even in the worst moments, having Him by your side, it's a great asset. Like it's a load off of your shoulders. And that has really, really helped me because the things I can't control, instead of stressing over them, I say, in your own time, you correct it. In your own time, you get me to a place where, well, I'm happy. And in most cases, He has. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have witnessed several miracles in my family. So I'm not, like, I understand the value God has in our life. So trusting for a better future and doing the things you have to do right now is a great recipe. If not, then you're always going to be divided. You're always going to be worrying about the things you could have no change over. And it's also a great source of rest time and internal, well, you look in towards yourself. Like with God, you're like, okay, so what am I doing? Things, you have a clearer understanding of what's right and what's wrong, not more divided. And yeah, God is very important to me. He has helped me a lot. I understand, and I'm grateful for that. And He will continue helping me in the future. And for people here in Ethiopia, I think most people have grit because they have hope, and that hope comes from God. Like different religions, like a hope for a better future, a hope that they are born into this world to achieve something is a great motivator to do great things. And without faith, without an image of a better future, nobody would work, nobody would do anything now that's beneficial. So it's like young entrepreneurs believe that eventually things are going to be great. Just don't stray away from the path you're following in terms of both religion and the vision you have, then you'll be fine. It has helped me so far, and I'm very happy. Not only me, but everybody around me. And it's because of God I have great friends. I mean, I cannot... I've learned a lot through them. And religion is a very important thing to me.
You mentioned entrepreneurship and the ecosystem in Ethiopia, how it is operating, how everything is going on. I want you to mention some of the challenges in actually being in that ecosystem. But before that, I want to have this understanding. Like, I saw a documentary, I don't remember when, but the Indians going to the US, Silicon Valley, and trying to actually live the life of Steve Jobs in Palo Alto and different tech moguls, big tech giants. They kind of achieved a lot because they have people working in different roles. I mean, being a CEO of Google, being a CEO of this and that, coming from that part of the world is a big thing. Are you guys trying to emulate that, or do we have our own kind of thing? Take me through that process. of understanding entrepreneurship in Ethiopia. And tell me what it is that you people in that ecosystem wanting to achieve.
Okay. Uh, yes. So I think you're referring to people going from Ethiopia to the States, like choosing for a better life, or is it more of
Just in Ethiopia.
just in Ethiopia? Okay. So like I said, it's just a case of more opportunities. People going to the Silicon Valley would have been great a few years ago. I mean, several decades ago, but right now it's flooded. I mean, one specific problem has a lot of solutions. And when it comes to Ethiopia, we have a lot of problems. A lot. I mean, in my time, a lot of people ask me, what should I do in Ethiopia? And I'm like, take your pick. You could do anything. There are a lot of problems that are going to make you very successful. Take your pick. I can't say the same about the US. I can't say the same about the more, like the first world countries. They are more open to the world. So the people here, if they want true wealth, they're going to have to achieve it by solving big problems. Or they could even be small problems that are happening for a lot of people here. Sometimes there are cases where there are problems that are common all across the world. Then in those cases, that would work out in the US. But people want to change like big things. Even the people I told you, my friends that are in the States, they're like, I'm going to come back here. Because, I mean, I can earn a living here. I can sustain a family here. But in terms of what my life amounts to, I can't say much. I do work 9 to 5. I come home. I support a family. And that's great. Most people want that life, sure. For those visionaries, it's easier here than it is in the States to be extremely wealthy. It's just the hard part is in it, like when you're starting out. There are a lot of things you have to know as fast as possible, a lot of hurdles you have to climb out of. But eventually you just stack up failures, common failures. Then it's just easy because you don't have a lot of competitors. You have the home market. Ethiopia is 120 million people. That's a big market. So you can solve a lot of problems for them, be successful as fast as possible. Then you could use that success to solve different problems. That's what we're trying to do. So the PPO venture is one venture. In the future, we want to set up companies, we know the problems. We understand what kind of solutions are needed to solve those problems. It's just going to be a financial obligation. So in the future, the vision is create several different companies, train up different talents, then help them solve the problems they have. And hopefully out of all those companies, you're going to create unicorn companies. So the unicorn is the big deal. And to do that, we're taking the first step. Everybody else has to take the first step. And the people even in the States eventually realize that this is more greener in terms of growing faster compared to the rest of the world. So it's an opportunity. You shouldn't miss.
I understood that you take an oath to become a professor. Are you maintaining that oath? Are you really into that still?
So, no.
All right.
My dad is a professor. And I remember during his professorship, all his friends circled me. And I remember Professor Yalim, the first female professor, she kneeled down and she said, "You're going to have to be a professor like your dad. Promise me." And I'm like, sure. Okay. But I am realizing, I realized that the academic front won't get me to the destination I want. And I'm very lucky enough to have understanding parents, right? Because the expectation was he's going to replace me. My dad was like, okay, you're going to replace me. Academics was very important in our household. But once I graduated, he was like, okay, when are you going to continue masters? I'm like, no. Every information I want to know, I could read about the certifications right now. That's time I'm going to be spending on that venture instead of trying to create something sustainable, a big business. And he's like, okay, let's see it for a year. And after a year, same idea. So I'm very lucky. Actually, all four of us are lucky because, like I told you, we have families that take most of the burden so that we can focus on our work. Like I'm at home, I do my work. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. So I could focus on my work. And that's a great advantage. And I have very supportive parents. And they're supporting me in this venture as well. They understand the vision I have. They understand that the sacrifices I'm making, I believe they are going to eventually pan out in a great manner. And I'm pushing my hardest so that they could see this as fast as possible. But I want to take this opportunity to say thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Love you both. And and even though I'm not going to be a professor, with God, hopefully I'm going to achieve great things that you're going to be proud of.
Amazing. Yeah. Great. All right. I wouldn't expect you to be a professor. Understanding problems and seeing what is happening in the world, being around technology, you wouldn't want to be that. So it's understandable. Do you encourage brain drain?
No. So the greatest assets we have, like in terms of talent, they usually go to the States or the rest of the world. And because they know they can compete there, they try to lead better lives than they have right now. Or now, like they could be at home and work for different companies all over the world, right? This globalization, it's creating more opportunities for people who want to work in those opportunities. But still, like the opportunities they take are not benefiting mostly the country. So they work for like companies in the States, companies in Europe, whatever. They get great benefits, but they're not working on the country. And I understand because everybody wants to have that financial security. But if we find a way, like that's why we're pushing in the BPO sector, if we find a way to generate revenue or to create impact using our greatest assets, then the country would grow faster. So the BPO sector, we would still be working for companies in the States, but using those assets, we can use those assets to solve problems here. That's the long-term goal. So brain drain, I understand from the perspective of the individuals who want to go to the States because more opportunities, financial security, they have access to a lot of things. Life is easier there. But for the people that want to create big impact here, then it's not advisable. And we, as a country, we need to find a way to use those people to create different opportunities that are going to benefit them as a whole and be fulfilled in the purpose they have. So that's one of the biggest problems these people eventually encounter is they go away, they start working for companies, then they lack purpose because they understand they're working in big corporations that wouldn't care if they went out the next day. So they're like, what is my life amounting to? I have money, sure, I can sustain myself, but I don't want to leave this earth without doing something great or leaving some kind of legacy for my kids. So then comes the idea that they want to influence like people here. They want to create impact here. But you could still do it while you're young. It's just a matter of creating opportunities that are going to be beneficial while they are here, not leaving the country. And that's what I am happy that Ethio Telecom is expanding to basically every corner of Ethiopia, right? So it's connecting them to everybody else in the world. And using that, they can have leverage to grow personally in their career and create impact that's going to last more than their lifetime. So brain drain, I understand why it happens, but there's another route you could take to gain the benefits you would get like by defecting the country.
Okay. Let me take you back to the US. Your business trip to the US, and you had this encounter with people, Ethiopians living in there. So you tell me the full story of it, but people trying to introduce you to their family members or young people around there living in the States, and you're this young guy going to the States from Ethiopia, and they understand anyone coming from Ethiopia speaks a different language than the language they speak, English. So they found you intriguing or something? Tell me about that.
Yeah, they were surprised.
All right.
So the image they have of Ethiopia is completely different from what it is right now. So whenever you say someone from Ethiopia came, they're like, okay, so mediocre education, he's just here, maybe he wants to stay here for the rest of his life, whatever. So you get introduced to them and they're like, huh, you guys could speak English this well? Yes, we can. Okay, what do? We do software development. You guys do software development? Like, so you guys have internet? Yes, we do. Really? So I'm telling you this, like not only from some people in the US, but some people, some diasporas that haven't been here for like 30, 40 years, they get surprised, which is, I didn't expect this. And so I was changing their minds, saying that the country has changed, obviously. Access to information is a lot easier. And people are trying to pull themselves out and trying to create something sustainable. So their image, it's changing. Even like this idea they have of Ethiopia, like it's very primitive. And that idea sometimes translates to their kids. So when you meet their kids and they're like, you're from Ethiopia? Yes, I am. So you guys, so I tell them about my interests, what I do, what I read, and they're very intrigued. Maybe I will come to Ethiopia, they end up saying, which is great. So as a country, I think we should try to change the image we give off so that people have a better understanding that there is a sector of people, gems, that right now don't want to show themselves. But in time, we have to show that what we're capable of so that we can change the minds of everybody else in the world so that more opportunities come. And I was surprised because I went there for business, trying to convince different companies to try out our services. And almost always, the conversation spirals into me convincing them that I'm Ethiopian, me convincing them the skills I have acquired is from Ethiopia, me convincing them that Ethiopia isn't as bad as they say. So I think we should all collectively try to change the image we have, especially the youngsters, the youth. Be more out there, show what you do, be proud of what you do, so that people understand that Ethiopia has a lot of capacity. And in the future, a lot of investments are going to be driven by those people. So you don't invest in places you don't think are going to thrive. And we have to show that we can thrive.
All right. Would you say you're bold enough to tell about your own stories? For example, what you achieved and what you're going through, and display the achievements that you have. I mean, I have this doubt about all of us in Ethiopia. What we are doing, achieving in life, and what we are actually unraveling and showing people is not the same. You've been telling me about all these things that you've done and the journey that you've traveled and the people that you made and the achievements that you have. For a person from a different part of Africa, this would be like, oh, the guy that you called from Nigeria. This would be like, this guy would run for president, would say that I'm the guy who is going to actually reclaim the victory of Nigeria, whatever victory they have had or in the past. Oh, I'm the guy who's going to save the lives of people living in that part of the world. That this would be a big thing. But for an Ethiopian, I have my reservation that you're not even doing it in a bold way. Do you believe that you're bold enough to sell yourself the way that you expect people to sell Ethiopia or to talk about Ethiopia?
Yeah, I have to be. So if you don't market yourself, then people don't know what you do. Right? So that's why I told you we're in our suffering phase usually, especially in our early days. We had to do different projects for little to no money so that we can build the reputation we have. So eventually people call you out. They're like, you said you have done this. Show it to us. Then we show it. And we also understand that there are a lot of people that do the same thing, but they don't show it. So you have to be bold enough, because you can take the biggest companies, the people they know are the marketers. The people behind the work are the technicians. You don't know they exist. You don't even know what they did, right? Steve Jobs, great marketer, if you see, but the work was done by, well, people behind, right? It's the same. You have to be bold enough to show things. I mean, I understand sometimes people over project what they do so that like they get acceptance. And sometimes I do that. I'm not going to lie. But like when they see the work, because before investing their time and their money into you, they have to see that you can do that. So you have to build up your reputation. You have to build up like the specific projects you said you did, then you use them to gain more work. But if you, like most people are in the phase where, especially technicians, they have a lot of projects they did, great portfolio, they just don't know how to show it. So they don't, the people they're trying to work for, they don't understand what they did. So that misconnect makes them lose the opportunities. So I am bold because I had to be. Then from the things I said and from the ventures I took through being bold, some of them panned out. Like we did great projects, amazing project, got introduced to very important people, both here and the States. And those eventually steamrolled into us gaining more contracts, doing other different types of work. And all that because we just spoke out and told people what you do. So just take the opportunity, do the things you said you're trying to pitch, and talk about them. If you don't talk about them, there's the saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Take them. If they don't work out, you got a story out of it. I tried this, it didn't work out, sure. Try it again, improve, eventually until someone takes a chance on you. Then that's going to be your stepping stone. Eventually, you're going to go to higher achievement, bigger heights. But taking that first step and talking about that, it's a very important thing you should do.
Sure. I understand you are an engineer by training. And in Ethiopia, people who study engineering, who have this training of engineering, are not actually known to be outspoken or articulate. Maybe you may find some people being really articulate here and there, but not a lot of them. You're young. You're from educational background that is not known for being articulate or outspoken about things. What do you think caused that?
What do I think causes that?
Causes your being you today, coming on this podcast and talking about your ventures, your investment, and your engagements with your friends?
Well, it's mostly practice. So I was lucky enough to go to a good elementary, high school, EPS. Then campus, I was in Addis Ababa University. But it's not only the things I learned in school, but the things I chose to practice on. For example, talking, articulation. It's simple, but I picked this up from little kids. They're the fastest learners. And whenever they want to learn a new language, they keep saying it out loud. So I trained myself while watching Friends, the series. So whenever they said something, I tried to say it over and over again. Eventually, it became muscle memory. I spoke better. And a lot of people subconsciously pick up on accents as well. So that's why you check the young generation, like most of the curriculum is given in English. They speak in English. So they're basically westernized, even though they grew up here. So I just practiced over and over again. And whenever different event circumstances came for me to use those skills, I go and try them out. I use them. And initially it was, I stumbled a lot. I stuttered a lot, obviously, but I didn't stop training. I didn't stop trying to improve. So the whole point is to be a better version of yourself every day. So you have to improve from yesterday.
Sure. Do you think it helped your ventures, like maybe the pitching and other things?
Yeah. A lot. Because you can communicate with them on their level.
Yeah.
They're more open to hearing you out.
All right.
And it did. Like, it panned out really well. Not only that, like, the things, it's mostly about courage, right? So I know people that couldn't speak a lot of English, but the businesses they're involved in, like hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's just having the courage to say what you think, even if it's like a very primitive form of communication, just saying that and showing that you can work it out. You're effectively better than everybody else who didn't take that chance, but could do the work better than you. So it's just practicing. Eventually someone is going to take a chance on you. It's a numbers game. Even in sales, I'm really interested in sales, right? It's a volume game. So from all the things, like, you might contact thousands of people. From those, only 10%. That 10% is, like, even 10% is high. That's if you're good. So it's a volume game. Eventually someone is going to take a chance on you. And throughout that experience, you keep on getting better. So, like, even pitching, I was really bad. Like, back in high school, eventually, like, I kept doing it over and over again. Then I got better. I still have a lot of ways to go, but I'm better than I was like a few years ago. So it's just practice. Keep on doing it. Nothing makes me special. It's just I did the things over and over again.
All right. You've been mentioning kids growing up in Ethiopia now, picking up this language skills, especially English, from the TV shows and movies, and having that accent and everything. So I have one concern. I have one worry. The reason I'm bringing this up is because we have amazing culture. We have amazing tradition. We have this beautiful land. Taking the parts of the language, be it English, French, or other languages, is fantastic. But being westernized is another thing. So I'm really worried. For example, my kid speaks a very good English. He talks to me about things in English. So I try to teach him about what is in Ethiopia, what is in the countryside of Ethiopia, and people herding cattle and doing all kind of things. That these people are not as fortunate as he is, and he has this responsibility of going out there, helping out people, and understanding the tradition of these people, because these people are his ancestors. These people are people that are related to him in blood or in other things. So I'm really afraid that we're losing that generation who really understands Ethiopia and at the same time takes those perks from the Western world without compromising one for the other. For example, you've been saying these kids going to the private schools understand what is the Western world has to offer, and they receive that, they use it, they benefit out of it, but the Ethiopian element is not there. I really would appreciate that these people having all that and mingling it with what Ethiopia has to offer would do them a much bigger benefit than accepting one of it and rejecting the other. What do you think about that?
It doesn't have to be one or the other, right? They could know about the Western world, the rest of the world, and also know about Ethiopia. So our curriculum, mostly it's focused on getting them prepared for anywhere in the world. So, like, parents, their people around them, they have responsibility when it comes to educating them about Ethiopia. Usually right now, Ethiopia is surrounded by a lot of bad press. A bad press, nobody wants to listen to that, even as kids. And everything they consume when it comes to the Western world, it's good things. The majority of the things they see are good things. But you go there, I think you've had a few people here on your podcast, they tell you it's different. So they have a good public image. When you go there, and it's a letdown. It's the reverse here. So there are good aspects. But nobody shows those aspects. And even like in our families, nobody takes the lead and showing them what Ethiopia is all about. So If they don't learn about it, then they won't go out of their way to learn about it. So the only good content they consume is the Western cultures, and they grow up in that phase. So we have responsibility as a society to pronounce the good things as much as we do the bad things. Check YouTube, check everywhere. It's just whenever you type in Ethiopia, the things that comes up first are not good things. So the youth, even though there are bad things, everybody else should know that there are also good aspects to the country. So it's just a responsibility we have to uphold upon ourselves to educate the youngsters. Like it or not, they're not going to stop consuming content. So at least introduce other content about our country that's good for them.
Would you say you understand Ethiopia better than your peers?
Not really, because I grew up in the same environment they did. I went through the same trials most of them did. So I have a basic understanding of our country based on my experiences. But I haven't seen the rest of Ethiopia. I haven't seen a lot of Ethiopia. I mean, I've heard about it because, well, I live in a society that talks about Ethiopia, but I can't say that I know more than my peers. But I eventually have to, and I want to, because I understand that, like, to understand the talent we have, we also have to understand the broad Ethiopia. Right, so I have to take strides in that sector. But right now, I wouldn't say that I'm really great at understanding Ethiopia's complete infrastructure and complete outlook.
All right. Where do you see the BPO sector in about 5 years' time from now?
It's going to be, Ethiopia is basically going to be the next India. So like hundreds of thousands of people graduate every single year.
Yeah.
They go out to the world. There aren't a lot of job opportunities, so they take it upon themselves to train themselves towards making their skills available for the rest of the world, right? So great talent. The image, it's slowly changing. So not only the other BPO companies are going to know about Ethiopia, everybody else, every business would know about Ethiopia. So whenever they want talent that's cheaper, but also great. So among the names that's usually known, Ethiopia is going to be great. Especially now, a lot of people are going into coding, anything that can be done remotely, right? They're practicing over and over again. So in the next 5 years, Ethiopia is going to be a big hub when it comes to the BPO sector. The talent is going to grow great as well. And after 10 years, we're going to eventually become like India. So most of the talent are going to be occupied with great work. But in terms of providing opportunities, work opportunities, the BPO sector, boundless. I mean, specifically, I think like someone told me 300 billion is spent on outsourcing every year from the States. So that's enough pie for everyone else. That's one of my mentors told me about that. So it's just, we don't have to compete. Just everyone needs to prop themselves up in the next 5 years. If we work on the image we have, then it's going to be a great sector. One of the biggest revenue generating sectors, especially when it comes to foreign currency.
Mikas, this has been a very exciting conversation for me. I know it will be one of the many conversations that we'll be having in the future. As I have stated around the outset of this podcast, I would want you to come before 5 years, the thumbnail question that I asked, and maybe in a year or two, you'll be here to talk about different things that we have and within the country and your company as well. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for the vibrance and the wisdom.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Truly. Thank you for your time.
All right.